Hi everyone, it's Alex from Risk Academy, and this is part 4 in the 5-part series about the role which I feel is very important for the future risk managers, and that's being a devil's advocate, providing alternatives and contributing to the decision making process. So in part 1 I talked about a need to get independent verifiable data, to not rely too much on the information provided by the front office, by the management. In the second video I talked about the tools that risk managers need to play that role. And I've talked about the 4 different tools that are very different to what risk managers are using today. I mean, if the outcome of your work is a risk level or some sort of other risk measure, then you got something completely wrong with your logic or approach. There are tools that are much better and they bring you to the next level. They allow you to use that risk information to talk about something that's actually valuable for the business. In the third video, I talked about the competencies that risk managers need to have, and that's understanding how the mind works, the psychology, the cognitive biases, understanding how financial modeling works, and how all those tools that I mentioned in the second video can be applied. Understanding the standards and modern trends, and understanding the nature of the business, so you actually understand why certain decisions are being made and what is the best way to propose an alternative. So in this video, and it's funny because I've left it kind of for almost the final one, but it is the most important one. It is by far the most important piece of the puzzle, to play the role of the devil's advocate. And I've called it the appetite for change, or the appetite for honesty. I mean, if we can put it that way. And that's probably the most important piece of the puzzle. To play a devil's advocate for the risk manager, the one thing that has to happen is there should be some appetite from the CEO or other decision makers to have presented to them and to discuss alternatives. Because if no one cares, if the decisions are all made unilaterally by a single person in the team, if nobody wants to stand up, or if nobody has appetite or the balls to talk about alternatives, then really there's no point. And if that isn't the case in your organization, well, you might as well resign, because there's no point working in an organization that just takes all the risks without proper consideration which risks are good or bad. So that piece of puzzle I think is very important, and it really means that you as the risk manager should probably pull together a 3-slide PowerPoint and have a sit down with your CEO and some other decision makers who are relatively friendly. I mean, you're not going to convince everyone, let's not pretend life is simple. There will be people for sure who will be violently against your role as a devil's advocate in the organization, and that's fine. It may be because they've got something to hide and just proves that you are doing the right thing. But you really need to have that sit down with the CEO and say, well, do you want this to happen? Do you want me as the risk manager to invest my time and my people's time in the methodologies and tools to provide you, the decision maker, with a set of alternatives for most significant decisions? Do you want an alternative point of view on certain key decisions that the organization is going to take? And if there is appetite for that, if there is willingness to listen, or at least curiosity to give you a chance to prove yourself, then wonderful. Go ahead and play that role, play the devil's advocate role. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. Do write underneath this video, and I'll see you in the final video soon. Thank you and goodbye.